Hi, my name is Chris Melnick, and I'm a realtor in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Today, I'm going to talk about how to buy property or invest in Nova Scotia when you're from out of province or country. Now, there's quite a few different rules at various levels of government, and some can make it possible to buy in certain areas, possible to buy certain types of property, or possible to buy, but you'll have to pay a bit more money. We'll talk about all of these. First, at the federal level, we have the Prohibition on the Purchase of Residential Property by Non-Canadians Act. This is a bit long, so we just casually call this the Foreign Buyers Ban. Now, this act bans people who are not Canadian citizens, permanent residents, or registered under the Indian Act from buying residential property. But it only applies to residential buildings that feature 3 units or less. So like a detached, semi-detached, triplex. But you could still buy a fourplex, a commercial building, or even a whole apartment building. Also, this only applies to a specific part of the province called the Census Metropolitan Area and Census Amalgamation, as seen here. I'll provide a link in the description for a search tool that tells you whether or not an address is in this area. As you can see, there are a lot of areas where non-Canadians can still buy in Nova Scotia. Next, we have the Provincial Non-Resident Deed Transfer Tax. This is an additional 5% tax on residential properties with 3 units or less being bought by non-residents of Nova Scotia. This would be in addition to the land transfer tax of 1.5% in the HRM when you buy a property. But this too has a few exemptions. First, it doesn't apply if you intend to move here within 6 months of the property transfer or possession. Next, it doesn't apply to fourplexes or larger multifamily buildings. It also doesn't apply to commercial buildings at all. So to recap, I'll go over a few common scenarios. Let's say you live in Ontario, intend to stay there, but want to invest in Nova Scotia real estate. If you're buying a residential property under 4 units, you'll have to pay the additional 5% property transfer tax, but won't if it's commercial or 4 units or above. You're not limited in where you can buy though. Next, let's say it's the same scenario, but you're from out of country and non-Canadian. Now, if you're buying residential property under 4 units, you have to pay the additional 5% transfer tax, but won't if it's commercial or 4 units or above. For those under 4 units residential buildings, you will be limited to buying outside of the CMA and CA though. Or if you're buying a commercial building or a residential building 4 units or above, then you can still buy anywhere. Finally, if you're a Canadian from out of province that's looking to buy a home and move here, you won't face any additional restrictions or fees. You just need to move sooner than 6 months from the date of the property transfer or possession of the home. And if you're thinking about buying property or investing in Nova Scotia, feel free to contact me. My contact information is in the description. Goodbye.